Hey, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Not since the last time we chat.
Right?
No, today's a good day. Nice day, good content, lots of good discussions.
Oh, most definitely. Very like
Excuse me.
our previous live was great
Hmm.
due to the show and our Chatsters. So it was great. And I'm kind of looking forward to this one a little bit. Because I feel
Wait, I can't hear you, Jamal. Jamal? Ah, there you are.
some of our suspicions were confirmed.
What suspicions?
The ones remember we said about Jen, like how she was mad at Sharif for not being there for
Hmm.
her father's funeral, and we thought that was a big issue with her, and it turns out it was.
Yeah, yeah. She seems to have a lot of unresolved issues.
True. No, it's true. Like she doesn't. I think with her, what it is, she doesn't express herself in the most flattering ways. I'll put it that way. You know what I mean?
Or she just plain old doesn't communicate.
Well, that too.
Well, first of all, she has no one to communicate to because she says that he's never there. And then second of all, she when he is there, it seems like they gloss over all of their issues. We'll talk about that when we get to it because I did not feel good about the bedroom scene at the end of the episode.
Okay.
So let's go through, say hello to everybody who's in the live chat, and then we'll go through a quick summary and then we can dissect it together.
All right. Let's see who we have. Hey, Black Lavender. Hey, Trey. Hey, Lucinda. Hey, Gina Maxi. Trey, good to see you guys. Hey, Yanni. Hey, Montana. Welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Can you give me
Thanks
like
for
2 moments?
coming back.
Can you give me 2 moments? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I think I'm asking too much from Jamal today by doing two shows. Um, did we give you guys enough chance to miss us? Okay, Black Lavender, why does Jen have some big feet? I know why I think she has big feet. I think they're just wide. I don't think that they're long per se. I think they're just wide because she has that toe jam spillage or overflow in all of her shoes, and she insists on wearing like
Hey,
strappy
thank you.
sandals. Makes it worse. Sorry, we were just having a little conversation about Jen's feet. There he goes. Did he leave because we were talking about her feet? Jeez, I hope not. He'll pop back in shortly. Oh, I can't. Oh, Lucinda, you can't wait to hear our commentary of what we think about this particular episode. I don't know what to think about this episode. I think most of it was trash because they kept on talking about the same old thing over and over again, each character. But I was impressed by Heather and her willingness to always be open and vulnerable. Um, and that's about it.
All right, thank you.
You got it
Well,
together now, Jamal?
it's just funny when your headphones want to connect to two different devices. It's like, but it's fine. Technology.
Okay, so wait, did we say hi to everybody? Did
Yes, I did.
you did? Okay.
Right before I like get about.
All righty. Okay, so let's go through a quick summary of the show. All right, so at the beginning, you see Seth and Meredith being lovey-dovey. Lisa and Henry are staging her rental house. Heather is at her spa. Things are rocking. And then we see Jen at home, and she's pissed about the party still. Um, Next, we see individual couples. Like you see Meredith and Seth at their home. You see Lisa and John at their home, and they're both rehashing what happened at the party because remember, their spouses did not attend. So
Hmm.
they're giving them the rapid recap. Then we see Jen going through all of it again with her assistant or whoever that girl is. I don't know. We flash back to Meredith. And so, in addition to Jen behaving badly, Meredith tells Seth what Whitney said, that Jen is dropping, gossip about her marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That statement just made the thought I had pop in my head. So finish that. I was just like,
mhm.
oh, that brought that in my head.
Okay, so hold it. Then we see a random scene with Mary trying on a broken belt in her closet bedroom. Um, Heather goes to her new spa. Construction is continuing. Meredith and Seth, Lisa and John go for a couple's dinner. Whitney and Heather invite Jen to a spa day to apologize. Lisa has a dinner in a tent, and Sharif and Jen have a discussion.
Hmm.
Where do you want to start?
So I want to start with, it's interesting how like Lisa and Meredith want to paint Whitney to be a liar, but when they said that when Whitney told them, well, Jen was speaking ill of Meredith's marriage behind her back, they believed that, but wanted to denounce Whitney when she told Jen that they told Mary that they were afraid of her, afraid of Jen. I'm like, interesting how you want her to be a liar in this situation, but not in this situation. It's very convenient.
I think they attacked Whitney for different reasons. Like, did you notice Lisa was just going in on Whitney? And she even said, she said things about me that I don't agree with. Like, Lisa was full of vitriol towards Whitney. And I'd like to know the backstory of that. Meredith, on the other hand, is blaming Whitney, yes, but is concerned about whether Jen is talking out of turn regarding her marriage, especially now that they're trying to get it back together.
Right.
Um, and that's her sole focus. Um, and she's also pulling away from this group because I think her mode of operandum is like, if I don't like the behavior, I'm just going to disassociate. And that's it. I'm not going to engage. I'm just disassociating. I'm removing myself from a situation that I don't agree with.
Right.
And Lisa seems like a gutter snipe, ready to attack with the tongue.
That is too funny. Not inaccurate. I just find it
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Like, you're gonna believe her in this instance,
Mm-hmm.
but not in this.
Only what
So
works for their purposes, though.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
you'll believe Whitney when it's convenient for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it interesting that if you gave credence to what Whitney was saying, why didn't you ask Jen then and there, since you're not afraid of her?
I don't know.
I was like, well, if you're not afraid of her, you're saying it's like big and bad. Confront
Mm-hmm.
her right now. Like, well, did you speak ill of my marriage? Why wait until you're with your husband or with Lisa? Why to talk about these concerns? I'm like, so I
Because she
believe
did
Whitney.
speak ill of her marriage.
Right.
She spoke ill of her marriage. She knows that Jen probably did see her cavorting with someone in New York at on a buyer's trip. That was her confidant during all of their little stupid sleepovers when neither one of their husbands were there paying attention to them. But you got to be careful who you divulge personal information to, because obviously Jen is a loose cannon and they all know it. So shame on Meredith for sharing information that she wanted to be held in confidence. Shame on her.
No, it's not. My thing is this though. Like, yes, Jen did, but my thing is this: why wait until you're in your comforts? Like, if you're not afraid, like you say you aren't, you confront that person then and there. Well, at least that's my
Lisa did that.
personality.
Lisa did that. She was all up in Jen's raging face saying, by the way, I'm not scared of you. That's a lie. I'm not scared of you, you know?
I was speaking of Meredith.
No, but Meredith handles things differently. I
Fair.
don't think
That's
she's
fair.
not confrontational.
I think that just doesn't vibe with my personality because
Mhm.
if I have some things to say about you or you confront me, I'm just like, yeah, I said it. And okay,
Mhm.
I I'll put it this way: I don't go into confrontation, but I'm not afraid of it. I'm always down for a good fight. It's just, are you prepared for that fight?
Yeah.
So I don't like it, like, because you're now you're getting behind Jen's back and speaking ill of her. You're doing the whole tit for tat thing. I'm like, this dumb. Like, just call your friend. Like, did you say X, Y, and Z? You don't have to, like, if you're not comfortable confronting people in a public setting. Cool, I get that. But when you get home, you give a day or two, let it calm down. You call up your friend and say, hey, did you say X, Y, and Z?
Mhm.
And then have that conversation. It shouldn't be a continued conversation between you and Lisa. I understand you saying something to your husband. That's completely fair. But to keep it going behind Jen's back to Lisa, it's like, it's childish. Your behavior is no better
Mhm.
than Jen.
Yeah. Yeah. So, question for you. Lucinda Dawson is asking, do you think Jen has a side piece like Heather? Maybe that was their shared secrets.
I can see having a Jen having a side piece. I just can't see it. She's way too into her family and way too into that husband. Like, like literally, she's afraid of losing him. Like, you can just see the way she acts. I mean, I just can't see it. I can't see it.
Mm. Okay, so Ayane has a good comment. They're afraid of her temper, though.
But they
Yeah,
can
I
say
think,
that though. Say
yeah.
that. Say that.
But then again, they probably said that to Mary, and Mary twisted it to suit her purposes in relaying it to Whitney.
I can see that.
Yeah, they're afraid of how she just blows up at the slightest little thing. I can see that,
But the
you
funny thing
know?
is this to me. I mean, you guys said you didn't like her temper, Heather included, Whitney included, at Whitney's 1920s party. So I'm not sure why this is
Mhm.
still a thing. Probably because Mary said it.
Yeah.
You know what
Now,
I mean?
Black Lavender, he's saying Whitney had a weak mind to let Mary basically talk her into saying this.
I don't think Mary talked her into it. I think Whitney got frustrated with everybody.
I, did she try too hard to make the whole group come
Yes,
together as one?
yes,
And
I'm
she
down.
fell for any
Yes,
little thing without going to individuals to say this is what's being said. And
yes,
did she make a mistake at bringing up this situation to Jen at her husband's party?
yes.
There's some blame there for Whitney. There
It
really
is.
is.
And I'll use my own situation. So like when I was younger, I had a group of friends. There's about 8 of us, and we're good friends. But amongst us, we had a rule: when two of us fight, it's a fight between the two, one on one. Y'all settle it. If you want to come talk to us about it, cool. You can invent whatever, but we're not gonna like fix this for you. Now, if there were outside forces getting involved, which tends to happen, then you
Mhm.
bring it to the group and we just aired it out because gossip and keeping the conversations going is not a good thing for a group. And that's what's happening with this group. I agree
Yeah.
with you wholeheartedly. Whitney, wrong time and place. What
Mhm.
you do is you go back to Mary and say, hey, I'm going to air this out. Is this what you meant? Cool. You call Lisa, you call Meredith first, like, hey, this is what Mary has told me. Is this true?
Mhm.
Then you do that with each person. Because now what it is, someone's lying.
Yeah.
And in this situation, you can't really tell who's lying at this point. You really
Yep.
can't.
And it
And that's
might
the
not
problem.
even be a full-on lie.
Right.
It might be a convenient twist on words. You
Hmm.
know, they are afraid of Jen and her reactions, but
Correct.
not just Jen herself as a physical individual being.
Exactly.
Yeah. Trey, you have to watch the episode. I'm so on the fence with it. I'm losing my patience with this particular series, but please do get it when you get a chance. Watch it. Let's see. What do you think about this? Ian thinks that Whitney is the producer's bone carrier. Do you think? Because I saw this on an earlier show. I think it was
Where?
DJ Richie Sky, and he had Adam on, Up and Adam, and they were saying maybe the producers forced her to say it at Sharif's party.
But the thing is, I've always said this from the very beginning. Whitney is the season one Ashley Darby. She's just not good at being messy. That's all it is. I agree with Black Lover on
Mhm.
that. Whitney, Whitney. Anytime you need liquid courage to like say what you gotta say, nah, you shouldn't be telling nobody nothing.
Okay.
You should be the cute little blonde girl, the life of the party. Keep doing that. Keep doing that.
Do you think what Gina Maxey says is true? Coach Shaw has a side piece?
To be completely honest, I wouldn't be surprised because Jen is not really emotionally available to him
Mhm.
because of her own emotional issues.
Hmm.
So he's the type of person where the way he strikes me is like he needs someone there to emotionally support him, just like he emotionally supports that someone. So she's not available to him right now in that way because she has her own issues. And if she had opened up to him sooner, she that would have allowed her to be there for him in that emotional capacity. But because she held on to things for so long without saying anything, this is where they are. She's not very articulate, which is a big problem. She doesn't
Hmm.
she doesn't she doesn't say what she say without yelling or screaming. You know what I mean? It's always like a shrill. Even when she was like pouring her out to her husband, it was still a
Mm.
shrill. It was not like this is how I'm feeling, this is what happened, like you left me alone, blah blah blah. It was like loud crying, like high pitched voice, blame, um, all those things. Like, and who really wants to deal with that?
Hmm. Okay. Um, do you agree with Montana Marcia? Jen is an angry, insecure woman.
I don't see her as insecure. I see her as angry, and that's just the simple fact that she never told her husband how she felt. And I forgot about this that she went back on her medications, but she was drinking. So
Mm-hmm.
drinking and medication typically don't mix, from what I've been
True.
told. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, when you combine her already emotional issues, plus her medication, plus the drinking, plus the anger, this is what you get.
Okay. All right. So Trey says, I would simply cut ties with someone I felt like I had to walk on eggshells around. I wouldn't allow her volatile behavior to disturb my peace. True.
Yeah, I
I
can
agree with
see
that.
that. I can agree with that. It's just it depends. You have to do what's best for you. Like I said, I don't mind a good fight. If you're a friend of mine and we have a good history, I don't mind a good fight if it'll put us in a better place. But if if I have to like feel like you're super sensitive, like I don't do well with sensitive people. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't because of my viewpoints and how I express myself. I don't hold things back. I tend to avoid those type of people. And when I run across them, I'll be like, okay, I'll give you a chance. But the moment I feel that I can't express myself in an honest manner,
Mm-hmm.
then I just have to cut you. So I do agree with Trey's stand on that.
This is an interesting comment here by Gina Maxey. What husband lets their wife make the choice to pull the plug on her dad alone and then not even show up to the funeral? I
That killed
find
me.
that really difficult to come to terms with. They've been married for a long time, like 2
Hmm.
decades,
Yeah, yeah.
and I don't get that.
I have a
Explain
question for
that to
you.
me.
I have a question
Mhm.
for you. Could you come back from that?
No,
Okay.
no.
I'm in the
If
same
you are
boat.
my spouse, you could be my spouse for 5 seconds or 5 decades. If you didn't show up for me at the death of my parent, I'm gonna have a problem with that.
I'm curious. I'm the same way. I'm exactly the same way. I mean, how could you? How could you let her go that through that alone, and then think that she would be okay with it? I
Mhm.
don't understand. I just don't understand that. And that was like I could understand him. How,
Mhm.
sir? How could you not know that your wife would be mad at you? How could you not think this would be the issue there? How? I just didn't understand like his lack of understanding or his lack of insight,
Mhm.
and that's what made me irritated with him. As annoying as she can be, as frustrated as she can be, you have to have some self awareness about yourself, sir. And understand like we had no issues up until this period of time. What
But he
happened
brushed
in
that away. He brushed that away in that conversation at the end of the episode. He brushed that away. He focused on her drinking. Did you notice that he turned it back on her?
I noticed he talked about himself. I was like, okay, interesting. But then he never fully acknowledged, like, I
Where
should
was
have been
he?
there for you.
Where was he? And don't tell me
Oh,
work, because
he
work
was.
lets you
No,
off.
no, he,
Hit,
no, she said that from the very beginning.
that's what oh,
Uh,
Jamal. Ah,
he did not show up for my father's funeral because he had a football game that day. She said that straight out the gate.
Jamal, that doesn't fly for me. Everybody has a replacement, a substitute, even in the football team. If somebody gets hurt with a twisted ankle, don't they bring in the backup? He's not that important. There is a death in the family. My God.
I think
He's
you're,
on the coaching team.
no,
He's not a player.
I don't, I'll put it this way. I think what she's trying to say, but not saying, is this. The real issue is that he chose to go to work versus being with her.
So she needed to open her mouth then to her husband and say, if you can't realize that this is important, the death of my father, then you just need to go to work and stay at work and don't come back here.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like you're saying, like that's why I had to like say it the way I had to rephrase it because that's what she's saying. That's the way I'm taking it. Because we like you said, like a lot of people take off for deaths in the family, and it's completely okay. She's mad because he actually made the choice to go, but she's not saying that because it would make him look horrendous in the public eye.
I don't know. He looks horrendous to me.
I don't. I mean, when she first said that he wasn't there, like, what do you mean he wasn't there? What do you mean he was at work? Have you
I don't
lost your mind?
understand how a husband cannot be there for a wife or a wife not be there for a husband upon the death of a parent, especially
Uh,
a parent that they had a good if it was a parent that dumped them in a bucket at birth, I can see that. But she had
right,
a close relationship with her family. Like, didn't he say that when he first they had their first date, her whole family showed up with her? She's
right.
tight with her family.
And it's not like he was out of the country either.
I don't know. It's to me that game was not that important. Your wife is. They can miss you for one game.
That's why she's
They can
mad.
miss you for one game.
That's why she's mad. She feels like in my opinion, she feels like he chose his work and his game over her pain and her suffering, and that's why she's really upset. But she's not really going to tell him in those blunt terms because, like Dr. Tua said, she can't say that because she's scared of losing him, and I completely agree with that.
Oh, wait, let's read this one. It's different with professional players and coaches. Of course, at least one of those days he could have made it. But ask any family member of a player and it's just like that. But yes, at least say something. I think her problem is that she doesn't say anything.
Hmm.
And she just keeps the disappointment in, and that's why she's the mean Biddy that she is now. Why did that not go? Oh, here we go. Let's see what else is in here. Oh. Um, oh. Okay, so this is from Trey to Gatatua. Lord, what kind of marriage is that? It means that he can do anything he wants and she will comply. No, ma'am, no ham, no turkey. I agree. I felt like he brushed it away. To be quite honest, I don't think that they resolved anything. I don't think they, this was one time his coach pep talk didn't work for me. I think she needs counseling
She
to
does.
resolve the issues that she has, and I think he needs counseling to give him some guidance on how to be actually physically and emotionally present with Jen and not only
Hmm.
coaching her over an iPhone.
I agree with you. In my opinion,
Hmm?
she needs therapy to work through her issues, and they also need couples counseling.
Mm-hmm.
That's just where I'm at with those two.
Yeah. Yeah. What else where do you want to go next in this episode?
Was there really anything else though?
Do you want to talk about the bathtub scene?
Yeah, yeah. Because I think those two scenes, the one we just talked about, and this one, I think these were
Mhm.
the most important ones. Everything else
Yeah.
was filler leading up until this.
Or
So
regurgitated trash.
right,
Yeah.
I was with Jen when she drove up. I was like, they just sent you into deliverance country and,
Yes.
and sent you to a shack. And I was like, okay, like I would thought I was in the wrong space too, because when you say spa, I'm thinking like we're going to this like up in the mountains resort type thing with the spa. We about to have chill out hanging. If I travel to two shacks like a little cow's head, I'm looking at this like okay.
It was like
Let
a
me
horror movie where no one gets out alive. I was waiting for somebody to come out with a chainsaw or something.
exactly. I was like, all right, but then when they went in, I was like, oh, it's like that little rustic chic type thing people do. Okay.
No, not rustic, dirty. Let's just call a spade a spade. That place was dirty.
Well, it was built on dirt, right? Rustic
It was
chic.
dirty.
Okay.
Dirty.
But I did like once they start walking and everything, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. And I thought the bathtub part was kind of cool too. So I wasn't too
That
mad.
was dirty too.
It was we calling it rustic mountain chic. Okay, let's be nice to the little people. They got business. Um,
That looked like a coal miner's bath. I'm so like, oh my God. All of the mineral deposits that were built up on
oh,
that poor tub. Ooh, ooh,
oh,
like you need a tetanus shot to get into that tub. But I digress. I'm sure the production company gave them all their shots before they got there.
exactly right. Yeah, I've been kind of upset too. I kind of like I'm not gonna even. I can't be mad at Jen in a situation because if you're making it up to me and you
Mhm.
are like saying sorry, I was with her 24 karat gold face mask, full body scrub, mani petty. Like if you gonna apologize, right? You gonna send me to the middle of nowhere, 3 hours away, to sit in a dirty bathtub? I'd be
Oh
upset
my
too.
God. Gina Maxey, the soaking prices were right. Yeah, because you got to clean your tub before you get in it.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe it was a mineral bath. I don't know. It wasn't my zhuzh.
Three
I kind
hours.
of like to be indoors. Um,
3 hours to sit in the bathtub.
3 hours to and outside at that where a bird could poop on me or something. I don't know.
I
It,
mean, for that, you know what? We could have done a Zoom call with all of us in our own bathtubs and bikinis. with some lavender and rose petals. I mean, you didn't have 3 hours for that. No, no,
Well, let's get past the dirty environment. And I'm sure that it's a lovely spa, just not my type of spa. Um, I'd rather go down to a creek or something. I don't know. I digress. Let's move on. let's let's talk about Heather and Whitney apologizing. Whitney tries to apologize, but I think she's trying to get accountability from an individual who doesn't think that she's wrong
right,
and has never taken accountability for anything. And if you're trying to apologize for what you did with an individual like Jen, I think you just need to apologize and be done with it, and then try to work on accountability at a later date.
right.
But yeah, Whitney was trying to space out the blame for what went down. And then Heather jumps in and is like, I'm so sorry, it was my fault. How?
Right.
Heather is so vulnerable in this moment where she's like, every time I stand up for myself and I'm not the go along to get along girl, somebody leaves me. And at the core of it, she feels like Jen thinks that Meredith and Lisa are better friends than she is, and she doesn't want to be left behind. I felt so bad for her because she's another one that a good therapist can make a good coin off of. Um, and she goes back to like how she stood up to her husband and
Mhm.
he left her. So now, she doesn't want to stand up to Jen because she doesn't want Jen's friendship to leave either. She's a hot mess and I love it.
The interesting thing is this though. If you look below the surface, basically, Heather called Jen a social climber because
Mm.
what she said was that she felt that Jen really wanted to be friends with Meredith and Lisa because it would improve her standing in
Mhm.
within the influential women of Utah. So
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, so you feel that Jen is really clamoring for their friendship
Mhm.
because you've been ostracized from society due to your divorce. I'm like, that is very interesting that you said that. And now when I look back, I'm like, I could see it.
And it held true.
It
There
held
is a
true.
modicum of truth to that
Mm-hmm.
because Meredith and Lisa are not very good friends to anyone but Meredith and Lisa. Because
Exactly.
when Lisa held her little tent dinner party up in the mountain, and she basically invited a bunch of influential female women, I mean, leaders, or business women or whatever. It was more of a networking thing. Everything with Lisa got to be networking.
Oh yeah.
And Jen wasn't there.
Nope.
Jen was not invited. So they don't even count her business as being influential.
Right.
And that speaks volumes about those two.
But we've always seen that though. Like they've always been
Mhm.
thick as thieves. They've always had each other's back. They've never really entertained the rest of the group. Whitney and Heather have been like this. They're family, so it's obvious that
Mhm.
them. And then Jen has kind of been left to the side, which is why she's trying to um, cozy up to Lisa and Meredith, while Heather's been like, "Well, I've been a good friend to you. Whitney's trying to be a good friend to you. Are we not good enough?" And Jen is, to what I see it, Jen is picking Meredith and Heather because those two aren't really thought highly of within the community, even though they have the royal last names.
Mm.
Because if you're gonna call yourself a queen bee, you have to be all about status. There's nothing else for you.
Yeah.
And she wants to be the queen bee. She wants to be that girl, but she
Mhm.
realizes within that society, since she's not Mormon, she needs them to help her boost her standing. She can't do it by herself.
Mhm.
Even Though her cousin is a coach, he's not the head coach at the University of Utah. Now, were he the head coach of either the University of Utah, BYU, or Utah State, she would automatically have that standing.
Mhm.
When you are the head of any major college in Utah, it's a big deal. Like no, like especially if it's one of the major sports. But he's not that. I think he's a defensive backs and safeties coach, if I recall correctly. So yes, he's
Yeah,
respected.
and he
He's
does
respected.
recruiting.
Mhm.
He does recruiting as well, so he has
Yes,
2 roles.
he's respected within that within the athletic department, but he doesn't have that
Mhm.
outward reach. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I was so sick of Jen in the bathtub scene just because the anger came out of nowhere. I thought it was unnecessary and not productive in the least. And it was misplaced as
Mm-hmm.
usual. Um, Again, wrong time, Whitney, to try and fight the battle of trying to get accountability out of Jen because it's never going to
Mm-hmm.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
And Heather, I think she's the most raw person on this cast. And when I say raw, I think this woman has totally bared everything of her background to us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really grateful for it because she's the most honest person out of this clique, this crew of women that we see for Salt Lake City.
Agreed.
And I don't think it's appreciated enough how honest she is.
Right.
Um, and I noticed somebody commented on the picture that they showed, the back in the day picture of Heather, her husband, and 2 of the children. He
Mm-hmm.
was thickums.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like he lost a lot of weight
A lot
based
of
on what
weight.
we saw. What was it for Valentine's Day?
Right.
Seems like he lost a
A
lot of
lot of
weight.
weight. But
Hot
I have a
tub does you good. Hmm.
question for you. Do you think the issue with Whitney is one, her timing, and two, the fact that she's the only one trying to resolve the group? If you look at it from a standpoint, she's the only one really trying to bring the group together.
She is, and she's trying to resolve issues, but I don't think she's the person to do it. Here's why. She has very good intentions,
Hmm.
but a reality show thrives on controversy and arguments. And these women are clearly not friends. They are not friends. Lisa and Meredith are friends.
Hmm.
Whitney and Lisa are friends. Mary's not with anybody, and Jen is pushing everybody away. Um, I think it would be nice just so that the storyline could move along.
Hmm.
But you have a character like Jen who does not let things go. So, okay, at the end of the bathtub scene, Whitney goes over and climbs into her tub, gives her a hug, and says, "Please forgive me." She says she forgive. Jen says she forgives her, but then in the confessional, she goes, "I might have forgiven her, but I'm not forgetting," which means you haven't forgiven her. And then we see for the prelude for next week, the preview for next week, you know, she's trying to come between Heather and Whitney and trying to make Heather choose between the 2 of them. How are you going to do that?
You're stupid. She's their family. They're not. Yeah, you're dumb.
But I think this is the one power play that will fail for Jen. And I hope it fails for Jen because family is family, yes, but Heather and Whitney have a really good, genuine bond. And
Hmm.
only a devious ass like Jen, who's a wannabe social climber, would want to see that fail.
Right.
I hope Heather doesn't fall for it.
Right. Jen really wants to be a socialite. She really does, and that's what it
Hmm.
comes down to. She really wants to be that girl, but she's not. And then I think what I'm seeing with this show as it goes on, the main issue is that they cast Lisa as the nucleus, but she's not really good friends with everybody. That's the problem.
Mhm.
With Beverly Hills, because everyone compares Lisa to Kyle. True, I do too. The thing with Kyle is Kyle was literally friends with everyone on that show. Like
Mhm.
they had a bond before, a good bonds before the show. Lisa doesn't seem to have good bonds with everyone pre-show and even on the show,
Ah,
except for Meredith.
I will query Kyle's friendships with everyone. I'll query that.
We'll say relationships.
Were they genuine friendships or were they business networking affiliations for her husband's real estate and
Okay,
her
so
brother-in-law's real estate? Cuz
Lisa.
remember
Okay, so Lisa. So the thing with
Camille Camille was like, "Your husband wants to buy or sell a house for me." Even Lisa was like, he when she was selling that first house, when she was neighbors with Maloof, Hoof, or whatever, Adrian.
mhm.
He was pissed that he didn't get that sale. I question what kind of level of friendship Kyle had with those women at the beginning of Beverly Hills.
I'll say this way. Okay, so I have personal friendships and I have business relationships, friendships.
Mhm.
So Kyle had like either a business friendship or a personal relationship with all the ladies. I don't see that with Lisa. Not at all. Like if you, when I look at like she went to school with Heather, but she's like I didn't know her. I was like okay,
Mhm.
we know she didn't know no Mary. We can just see she didn't know no Mary.
Mhm.
Whitney, she has this thing for like she really didn't know her. Like at least Kyle had some sort of tether. I feel with Lisa, like there's no real tether outside of Meredith.
Yeah. And I think that's why this show doesn't work because okay, Lisa brought all of these women together, but yet she's not trying to hold them together.
Correct.
She's not even trying to pretend that she's friends with them. She's either openly hostile or ignoring them.
Hmm.
And unless it involves a product placement for her, she's not having it. And again, I am sick and tired of product placements on this show. I can't take it anymore. I stomached it
Hmm.
through Sundance. I understood it.
Hmm.
Why we're still doing product placements for her businesses is ridiculous. She has no story other than promoting her
Hmm.
crap. And I,
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I mean I get it. I mean it doesn't fit into the storyline seamlessly like Heather's does. Like did you notice like at the event like this is Meredith Marks the fur I mean like
Yes,
you know what like oh like you made that yeah like and you have a jewelry line as well right I do like okay this is good all right
it was grossly uncomfortable. But yet, when you're at Heather's new spa, she's opening up that new space. You're seeing the progress of the construction going along. And then she has that conversation with that lady, and she's like, "Are you finally going to draw down a salary?" All of these years, she
mm-hmm.
hasn't taken a salary. So she's been, living off of her alimony.
Alimony
And here's another thing that I shows her true character, which I personally think is dumb, but she's like, once I start taking a salary, I don't think I should be double dipping. So I won't take alimony anymore. Child.
I'm on the Debbie train with that like you stupid
Wake up, girl.
you
He
leave me
left you.
with three kids.
That's right. He
You
left you.
can fund me until my kids are 18. Thank you. When I say
I
my kids
mean,
are 18, I mean all of them. Actually, no, you can fund me until they're all college graduates, call all college educated. That's what we can do. That's what we can do.
I'm hoping that Heather said that on the television and instantly forgot it and went home and draw down on her alimony and went out and bought herself something.
Mm-hmm.
I hope she forgets that. I really
Even,
do.
even her friend was looking at her like, "You gonna do what?" Stop. Her friend like, "You gonna do what? Are you sure?"
Yeah, yes, Gina Maxey, the
Uh,
man broke her heart. Take the money, Heather.
and he has. It seems like he's so cool. He doesn't have an issue giving her the money. Like
He doesn't.
family is worth billions. He is not
Mhm.
tripping off your alimony. He's
Yes,
okay. If he ain't
that's how
tripping,
you could tell. That's how you could tell he got money, money.
if
He
he
don't
ain't
care.
tripping, if he ain't tripping, I ain't tripping.
He gave her the house. He gives her child support. He gives her alimony. He comes over there. She gives the girls diamond earrings for Valentine's Day, and he's like, oh, "Okay, I'm going back to the hot tub."
And then the thing is
That's
this, my
money.
that and my whole thing is this. He's supportive of you. You guys have a great
Mm-hmm.
relationship. If you have not been drawing a salary but have built a very successful business and are building a bigger location, that means your alimony and child support is quite nice. I'm not
Got
giving that
the
up.
tour. I'm double, triple, heck, quadruple dipping. So true. He could afford it. Take the
So
money, Heather. Everybody in here
I
is
mean,
telling Heather, take the money.
he is not tripping. And people, the one thing I would say about this, I just like
So
Heather a
true.
lot. I like their co-parenting situation. There's
Mm-hmm.
no animosity. He wishes her well. He wants her to do well. It's not because he tired of paying child support or alimony. He sincerely wants her to do well. It just seems like they were two people who drifted apart. He wanted something than his wife she could that was not her, and she acknowledges that. And they
Mm-hmm.
chose to walk away from it. He chose to walk away before she walked away. But even though I
Yeah.
think deep down she knew she should have walked away sooner, and I get that.
Mm-hmm. But she knew
But
3 months in.
hmm
Did she say that?
she
Yeah.
did. She did. I hope she comes back next season. Um, I really feel that the cast needs a shakeup. Okay, Jim was my favorite going into the season, but in my opinion, if Homegirl does not get into some therapy and we see the growth, she can't. She should not be back. I'm sorry.
I thought I was going to like Jen at the beginning of this,
Hmm.
and now I don't. I don't
Hmm.
like Jen. I don't like the interchangeable ones, Lisa and Meredith, because here's another thing. I got a bone to pick with Meredith. Meredith and Seth putting it on so heavy in this
Right.
episode made me
Uh,
want to vomit.
it was terrible.
Vomit. Projectile vomit. I don't believe that they were separated. That's some bull. That's some bull. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I think
The
that
whole
was all for a storyline, and I think it was pathetic.
the whole high heels and goggles. I'm gonna need you to stop that.
Gross.
I'm gonna stop.
Gross.
You're not. She's not wearing high heels into the woods, and if she puts them in her bag, that's just corny. Yeah,
I
please
hope
keep
they
it
wind
moving.
up in traction or something. I hope a wolf chases them down while both of them are in high heels and goggles, and I hope they wind up in traction. So irritating.
It was just like y'all could save my 5 minutes of my life. I mean, I'll put it this way: like you could have put Brooks' fashion show again in the scene versus that. I'd rather watch that. I'd rather watch
Yeah,
that.
I think Heather and Whitney are the only ones that are authentic on this show and have really opened up and let us into who they are as individuals, and we've seen their real character. We've seen their flaws. We've seen the good parts of them. Um, Everyone else, no. I think they're giving us an image.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't relate to any of it.
And I will say this: my main issue with Lisa and Meredith is that you really don't see them film without each other.
Mm.
Like if they're not with each other, they're with their families.
Hmm.
And I think Priya made a good point too. We are missing Whitney's business though. Though I want to see Whitney's business do too. So
Oh, well, she made a comment about that because
oh
Up
cool.
and Adam had an interview with her,
Mhm.
and basically that was asked, and she said that the producers wanted her to focus her storyline on her dad, but
Oh
she has a successful skincare business.
right. I read that. I was like, are we gonna see this? Because
Yes.
we see Meredith Mark's jewelry. We didn't see the
Hmm.
store. We see Heather. We seen. I mean, I will give Lisa Barlow credit. She promoting the f out her liquor.
I don't give her credit for none of that because I still don't want to drink that piss water. Next, next.
I
Let her
mean,
get down with some. Tell her, you know what? She should go up to that spa that's in the mountain and start doing moonshine and see if she can market that for next season.
uh, Vita Moonshine. We gonna see her.
Hmm.
We gonna see her Moonshiners on Discovery. That'd be another check.
Yes, yes. Let her go and do that. I'm so sick of her. Uh-uh.
But I think for
Um,
was there anything else for me though? Those were like two major pieces of the episode. I mean,
yeah. There was a
these
lot
pieces
of like regurgitated crap on this episode.
agreed.
I don't
Agreed.
understand how DJ Richie Sky and Adam gave this episode such high marks. Like they gave I think an 8 and a 7.5 respectively
I mean,
for this episode.
if you're judging against the season, yes. But
No,
overall, you give it. I would
trash,
give it like a 4.
trash, trash.
Mm, but this
In
was
my humble
good.
opinion, trash. Maybe I'm just sick of this show.
I think so.
I'm so disappointed. I was so looking forward to this franchise, and it's just.
Well, the way they previewed it, like that was clever editing, though. Let's shout out to editing for the preview clips. Because they suckered us out. They suckered us out. I thought
Yeah.
it was gonna be full of fun and richness and like
Hmm.
like ski trips and snowmobile trips and like
But the
fine
next episode,
dining.
they're doing the group trip to Vegas. Is Mary invited? Because she's been uninvited to everything since.
Yeah, I mean they said it. They gave us the for real okie doke. I mean, I thought we was gonna be seeing into the deep seediness of the Mormon church and like the nitty gritty. I'm like, this is gonna get no,
Brooks wasn't on this episode, right?
no, Brooke, sorry.
So yeah, I'll give it 1 for Brooks not being there with his lipstick. Let's see. Um, she's supposed to be a friend. Okay.
Here's what I'm gonna say for Bravo and Andy Cohen
Mhm.
or Andy Cohen's assistant. Please hear what I have to tell you. You need to look at all your production teams, and you need to hire production teams that are native to the franchises because those who are native to the area can give you insight on what the real world is and can help you cast better quote unquote characters.
I don't
Because,
agree with that.
huh?
I don't agree with that.
I do.
Because wait, so is Carlos King from Mississippi?
Well, I mean, when I say the area, I mean like the not so much. It doesn't like say if it were say there was a Real Housewives in San Francisco, right?
Mhm.
Someone who is not familiar with this area is not going to know what goes on. Isn't Carlos King like he produced Atlanta, right? So he
Mhm.
obviously had a connection to Atlanta for that show to be
Mhm.
that good for so long.
Mhm.
which is why it was so good. So I just feel you need to find someone either native, like in the surrounding area, who has like a good insight to the area, or who has good connections in the area.
I think you need to have someone who has an intuitive sense of how to pair characters together that would feed well off of each other. Um, it's all about characters, these show. And I think Carlos King knows what goes together well.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna
And
go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
don't,
Finish.
they had two production companies for this franchise, two, and both of them screwed it up.
Right, which is why I say you want to hire. You would ideally hire locally. I'll give you insight. I'll use San Francisco. So I'm born and raised Oakland. I've worked in San Francisco for years. If you do not live here, you do not know what really goes on in this area. And that's just a fact. Because someone who knows this area can tell you, like, hey, here's where you want to film. These are the people you want to get for your show. And they can give you a better pool of characters. Because with those good pool of characters, they know each other on some level, either business or personal. Like, for example, me working in San Francisco, I know quite a few people within the area work wise, some here, some in Silicon Valley. Same thing with New York. If you have like a New York based person, they know the spots, they'll know the ladies, they'll know like or who knows who. It's just one of those things. So I think that would help them with production because when you just are just throwing people in, just throwing people in, it's crazy. Because look what happened with Mama D in Dallas. Like she gave us Tiffany Moon. How did they get
Mhm.
Tiffany? Because Mama D lives there and she's well connected.
But
That's what I'm saying.
they said Lisa picked these women.
But Lisa's not friends with these people, which is why I said you have the production people help you with the casting. It shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be a cast member picking the people. They should have input, yes, but I feel it's up to production and casting to make the proper casting choices.
Did Lisa pick these people
Mhm.
so that she would be the only one with products to promote?
Shut up.
I'm
That
just
could be it.
saying.
That could
Because
be
this doesn't make you yourself said she's not friends with these people.
right.
Why would
Look,
you pick people that you're not friends with?
because Whitney, and Heather was purely for name only. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, because they had to pick people because Lisa is not Mormon by birth,
Mhm.
so she doesn't. Let's be honest, she's not going to garner the same respect. Her name holds no weight in that community.
Mhm.
Meredith's not Mormon. Jen
Mhm.
is no longer Mormon.
Mhm.
They needed Whitney and Heather to draw in um, the Mormon like viewership, which makes sense due to their last names. Mary wasn't supposed to be there. It was supposed to be Sarah, but they had to like push Sarah to the curb a little bit because of her affiliations. And they thought, oh, Mary married her grandfather. Cool. We can use Mary's like quote unquote storyline as a shocker to have everybody watch. And they got exactly what they wanted.
I think she selected Heather and Whitney just so that she could have two former Mormon punching bags and someone that she could say she was superior to because she was still Mormon and still married.
Oh, but the problem with her, but she's wrong in her thinking. Based on the people I've talked to, they're like, oh, no, she'll never be above someone like Whitney and Heather because even though Whitney's excommunicated and Heather's divorced, they still look more favorably upon their own. Their name is royalty, whether you like it or not. So they're like, well,
Mhm.
no, Lisa's just plain Mormon, and she even said she's a Mormon culture, not religion. So, girl, get out of here.
I love how she twists everything to suit her own
Yep.
objective. She's
Hmm.
so aggravating.
And no one calls her out on it either.
Okay, I think we've beaten this horse into the ground. Anything else of note for this
No,
episode?
this episode wasn't the best, but I kind of, for some reason, like we normally our rapid recaps are like 30 minutes. This is an hour because I really felt this episode really brought all the issues to the forefront,
Mm-hmm.
to where you could really talk about them at length. So, this
Yeah.
episode is still a four, but hey,
Yeah. It is what it is. Oh my god. But guys, thanks so much for coming back for a second go around with us. If you like the content, please give us a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. If you want to share this content, we want more points of view to be brought into the table. So please, please, please tell your friends. I know we recently moved from reality TV Chit Chat over to this channel. So I noticed that Hermione didn't realize that and couldn't find us until Gina Maxey told her. Thank you, Gina. But please tell everyone that you meet in the other chat rooms where we are so that everybody can join in with the fun. We'll see you tomorrow with Southern Charm.
yes, so how it is.
All right, guys. Talk to you again tomorrow.
All right, guys,
Bye.
bye.